Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives, the show where we interview creative professionals no matter what their genre. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of our show will know we're part of the Creatives Group, the business club for creative professionals. Together, we will help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, and most importantly, help you to grow your creative business. That sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more? Please don't hesitate to reach out to us after the show. We would love to hear from you. But this is On the Couch, as I said. So, Julie, who do we have on the couch today?
Today on the couch with Creatives, we have James DAWES, and he's a graphic designer and website developer who runs a brand design hub, supporting brands and businesses to enhance their look, feel, and strategy. And he's based in Cornwall. And his company, which he started from home during the COVID lockdown, like so many of us did, is called very aptly Cornish Hue. Let's get him on the couch. Hello, James, and welcome to On the Couch with Creatives. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Julie. Great to be here. Thanks, Mel.
Well, let's kick off. Before we get into what you actually do and how you help your clients, let's start off with a little potted history
Okay.
of your career. What started you off in website design and development?
Sure. I think it goes back to about 2003 when I first joined uni, and started playing around with the technology of the time. And actually, probably before that, I was fascinated with anything computing and tech. I was always bugging my mum for the best and latest computer. Commodore 64 was the oldest one that I remember. And everything to do with the way it could bring things to life just fascinated me. And then moved into my teenage years and then into university. And the creative circle at that time was the same as it probably is now, because people were looking at photography, which was part of my course at the time, and the antiquities, the old-fashioned way of doing things versus, guess what, the new way of doing things. So at that time, it's the same juxtaposition and battle of what we're facing now with AI and tech and all this sort of stuff then, but it was different. It was slightly different. So that's really where the fire burned in me, and I loved doing it for my course and working with different sort of softwares and under different guises. But I then went into sort of sales in my early 20s straight after uni. So
You grew up in the digital age, really.
absolutely, born 81, didn't really get through to full understanding of anything due to probably your early teens, so mid 90s. But you forget how much you're actually doing in your early years. Like when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Um, yeah, it's amazing if you think back.
And then you did the whole sales and marketing thing. And then what made you decide
Yeah.
to become a website designer and developer?
So I worked for a company called Richer Sounds from just after university, and that was on the shop floor. We're selling hi-fi TVs, so equipment again, so gadgets, right, and speakers from a very small shop in Exeter. They converted it, and then I went through the UK and worked in different branches, and learned customer service and learned marketing because I was a marketing manager in one of the shops for a while. And then I grew up with passion and energy through the ranks, because that business, the owner of the business, comes and visits the shop twice a year, and get to know him personally and the colleagues personally. So it harnesses this growth in you that that you're this energy ball, and this kind of company is really looking after you and they like what you're all about. So I just grew through different experiences then. Some good, some bad. Sales can be quite brutal in lots of instances. So I learned from, you know, very strong salesman down to very collaborative salespeople and those that just doesn't fit, sales doesn't work for them. So yeah, that was my journey through there. And then that was until I was a manager of the shop in Bath. They gave me my first shop to run in Bath, and that was 2010, I think. And then I finished up there in 2014. And then yeah, that was my sort of experience from that period of time, just after the uni bit.
Do you find, James, I mean, having now you have your own business, do you
Hmm.
find that having worked in marketing and sales has been a help to you as a new business owner? Because some people really struggle with that when they're starting out.
I think so. I mean, I was always a very gregarious, normal kind of ball of energy. I was very happy and bouncy to get out and actually meet people when I was in my 20s. So for me, it was kind of when I was in creative spaces in the early 2000s, the reason I didn't maybe go that way as a career was I was sort of aware of some of the negative sides of the attitudes and the sort of the so I was looking for positive sort of ways to sort of get out and do in my character traits. So, but it's different for anyone else. And at that time, sort of my mind wasn't settled maybe as well as some designers were at that time, and ergo they've gone down and they've learned their craft and designed it up from, which is an amazing thing. Most of us are like in awe of is people that have sort of dedicated their craft to one specific tool. But yeah, sales, it was for me, it was sort of just an energy thing. It was me matching, and also a little bit of ignorance in the sense I was young, a bit naive, and I just went into this process. And then actually, when you're in a company, you sort of grow to love it and you grow to that kind of pattern of things. So sales and marketing definitely bore out of my kind of self energy in the way I like to meet people, I guess, which isn't always the case, as you say. Not everyone has that same. That
But you
same.
flipped, didn't you? You started creating again because being a website designer and a website developer,
Yes,
you have to be creative.
you do, and
So what happened?
the flexible mind is the ability to be able to be adaptive, and it's the same actually in sales, but actually goes back to the point, it differs, right? Every industry differs. You either are very one-minded and need to sort of focus on one specific thing and then get into that and grow through it, or you're a little bit more flexible minded. And I learned that recently. I'm ADHD, so I got my diagnosis. My flexibility around the way I like bouncing between subject matters, adapting situations and sorting things out, getting stuff done was the same thing that grew me up in sales role. I was able to adapt, blend into the circumstances and use my positive energy as a growth tool, to grow up in a company that sometimes it annoyed people at the time, especially I'd say the typical masculine energies that were very full horns into, okay, it's just all about selling and all we want to do is that. Whereas I'm just more like, let's meet, talk softly around subject matters and discuss it with the person. And I love just talking about them and their needs. And that was my tactic. That's the tactic. And if you then listen back to any really experienced sales coach or whatever it is now, that's the thing they're teaching people is to sort of, it's not about the linear path per se. It's actually about the ability to adapt to other people and learn their needs, their concerns, their fears, and what they're actually trying to achieve, even if it's selling X or Y. If you don't get to know people, you're not going to sell them or provide them the right service. So it's that realization that's come more lately to say, well, that's actually what's benefited me to grow up, be flexible minded, and learn the real cutthroat. Because when you're working on a shop floor, when you're managing a shop, you are there 7 to 8. You are, especially in a manager role, you're learning the nuts and bolts of real life and real people. And I think when I was younger, the energy I had, I couldn't really just sit and just labor over a computer. I loved the computing world. I loved the tech world, the marketing side of it. But for me, I had to get out and actually run the real world roulette, um, which I think actually benefited, and it benefits people when you're trying to approach business, because business is not linear. It goes all over the place, and you've got to sort of learn your path, but then adapt your path through it. So things that might scare other people might not scare me. Things that, so I'm happy with certain risks because that's what business
Okay, so
is
so you
about.
started you started slowing down. So what
Yeah.
happened? How did you get to starting your own business in Cornwall?
Yeah. So long story short, all that 10 years in lugging boxes, TV boxes, working on shop floors, hurt my back. I had two car crashes, three, one bus hit me. My back was starting to really irk me. And I then went back to a basis, what I love in terms of design and creation, and actually getting on the digital world system of meeting people in this space where we are now, um, and focusing on business needs and business concerns that I knew from before, from my experience before, but I can now deal with them in a more ergonomic way, a bit more flexible way, and yeah, sort their websites. And for me, designing them is something that is a natural flair. So I was always irked by people at the time before and more recently is look, your design skills, your natural creative spirit is under developed. I think part of my frustration has always been when in the past people had to put things in boxes. So I was always sort of I didn't want to be in a box. I wanted to go off and do my own thing. Doesn't that sound like most people?
Most
But then
creative people.
most creative people, right? And it's like, but for me, it didn't. It's come more recently that I felt I can harness those skill sets that I've got. And I built my own WordPress website in my previous business, Squarespace website, um, and then I tried to grow and met agencies who are ultimately ridiculously busy, and it's ticking boxes, which gets to be the way of any business that grows sometimes. So the bigger they are, the more tick box it can start to feel. And that really frustrated me because they missed some really important bits inside my website. At the time, I was running a business in a different sector. Um, and I had to end up taking it back and dealing with it myself just to get what I wanted to be done. I experienced the charges that weren't, I felt fair or correct at the time. So now I'm putting all that experience into my own agency business. Agency is a difficult word to maybe harness sometimes. You think of it being quite a negative word, but it's more of a creative studio for me. It's more of an adaptation between what does the business actually need, stop, think, approach, let's slow it down a bit because that's the most important thing. And that's why I've called this law of attraction process. Every business I deal with gets a little law of attraction box. So whatever they need, they'll they'll get that and they'll get it to the best quality that will suit them. That's the way I'm framing it.
Now, you call yourself a design hub. Does that mean you don't
Yeah.
do all the work yourself? If you need skills and expertise from other people,
Yes.
you bring them in on a project.
The bigger scale plan is to harness other people and grow over time. Um, I've got certain partners already in place, both AI technology partners and humans that I can pull on in terms of requirements, any specific part of the process where needed. Um, so yes, it's definitely about making sure we find the right solution and taking a bit of time with that to provide it.
And
I
you
like
So
moved out. Sorry, Melanie, beg your
I,
pardon.
I like the fact that you say they've got the law of attraction box and they can have that
yeah,
and your actions. Like, yeah, because when you said that before about not being put in the box, I thought, yeah, but most creatives when presented with a box would just take everything out of it.
yeah,
So I really love that they've got something they can, you can sort of take the things out of the box and look at it and And then you can put the things back together of, okay, I want this bit and this bit and this bit, and don't need that bit, you know.
At the end of the day, it's never going to be, nothing's ever perfect or fit everyone, right? Everyone wants to have something slightly different, I think. So we're building an ecosystem of solutions is the easiest way to provide it. And that allows me to give that designer touch and that flair to make sure it looks the way I want it to look and it feels the way I like my websites to feel and works simply for them to any business owner, founder, CEO, or project to actually work and build off, right? And then I can actually get to the bottom of any specific problem over time with other parts or tools. That's the
And
goal.
you moved down to Cornwall during lockdown, and you run your business from there now.
I do.
Really, it's quite a far away corner of the UK, but of course you can run businesses from anywhere in this day and age. Do
Yep.
you find that your physical location has held you back, or does it not even matter?
I found it's a bit of an attraction in itself, right? I think the idea, the concept of going to Cornwall is a really one that everyone's had growing up when they're younger. A lot of people have had. There's a very thriving artistic scene down here. Um, Great people doing amazing things from painters, artists, all sorts. So I think it's a real plus. Um, but I'm not born here, so I can't say that I'm Cornish of birth. Um, but I'm not a small town mind. Unfortunately, that's my nature. I see the world as one in a sense. It's a very small country in a very big world. Um, it's more important that we think about that in a positive way, whilst understanding you want to keep things as local as we can in terms of harnessing people's skills and talents. Um, but yeah, Cornwall is beautiful. So I'm very blessed to be here, really.
It's a totally different feel, isn't it?
Yeah, a whole different energy. I think to a lot of places, the beaches are so close. I'm right by Lusty Glaze here in Newquay, so I've got 5-10 minute walk to the beach, which is really really amazing. But it is remote, so it has that other side of it where you're not in a town, you're not in a city. I do miss the buzz of the city. And especially when you're starting up a new business, as anyone knows, you've got very little funds, you've got nothing really to get you anywhere quickly. So you're you're growing in a space where everything is online now to some degree, but you're able to touch base with reality as well. So
So, what tips would you give anybody who has the same kind of love and passion for design, creativity, and the tech side of things to start their own website business? What advice would you
hmm,
give them?
I think it's just be true to yourself. Try and look at things that would be simple steps to take initially. There are too many options out there for us to sort of get lost in. But just find your own vibe and your own energy with what you want to do. And I started with a Squarespace website, and I had the ability to block build and do something quite quite unique at the time. Um, but it's about making sure you do what you can with what you can and with what you have financially as well. Um, but yeah, just do something that would really suit your current situation and then take advice as time goes on and think about how you can adapt it alongside the sort of trends and the kind of where you are in business. Because at some point, there's always going to be a space for getting some help.
And what about the running of a business from home? Because a lot of people have started or did start to do that during the COVID lockdowns,
Mm,
because they didn't have anything else to do really.
yeah,
And
true.
turning even hobbies into businesses that have grown and grown since then. What
Yeah.
kind of advice would you give to people running their own businesses from home, regardless of what the business is?
Um, I think each to their own is the answer. I think everyone has to do what they feel most comfortable with. Don't get too isolated. find networks to join, find collaborative people to get involved with, like you guys, and we've got that relationship now. Go out to meet people locally. But I mean, if you've got the ability to create a lifestyle business, something that suits your energy and who you want to be in life, you will end up providing people better service, is my summary of it. If you're able to work in a zone where you're comfortable and you feel good, safe, and happy, you'll then share that with other people. And the problem is when you're going to offices per se, it's hard to create that environment. It's not your control. It's not your baby. You can build something special, and you're answerable at the end of the day. If you want to look after a project, you do it because you know your outcomes are yours to justify. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I think some people won't suit that. Other people love the office life and the routine of the office life, the consistency of the office life, and that's cool. I think so you have to be a bit aware that it isn't that. It's very much you have to create your own set of structures, and calendar and all that sort of jazz, really.
And you have to earn your own money. You don't have the predictability of a monthly paycheck, or the stability of it.
Exactly. I mean, it's very, very difficult to get off the ground, and especially when the economy is doing what it's doing and the world's doing what it's doing around you, and you've got all this noise going on, and you're trying to focus on your project and also be business minded. Like being creative and business minded doesn't always go that well together. So I guess I'm blessed for that from the perspective that I've done a lot of the groundwork from the past. I've seen it before. So, when I was a mortgage broker for that 8-year period as well, that was an experience where I was working for home for 4 years of that. So I had 4 years of working as a financial advisor from home. So it's like, well, that's an experience in itself, right? So it's, but it isn't easy, and it's very, very isolating when you are a business owner from if you are growing from the foundation of zero, isn't it? So, but exciting. That's the exciting bit. You've got to get excited or be excited by that idea that you can get so much more out of your life and grow to a place which is able to help others and put back into others what you your values and your kind of outcomes could be, and for me it is about being a bit more balanced and having that energy of helping others, not just sort of overtaking them. That matters. So
well, let's get a little bit more excitement into this conversation. Melanie's reaching for her value jam cards, and we're going to dig into your creative mind.
Alrighty.
You're going to pick a card, and whatever you pick, she will ask you questions about it, and
Sweet.
you need to get rid of your logical mind now, James. Okay? You just
the first thing that comes into your head.
Just spew it out. The moment you see an image or whatever, just spew it out. Okay? We want to tap into your creative brain here.
Alrighty.
I'm going to run my finger along the card. You just say stop when you want me to stop and pick a card.
Keep running the finger. It's quite enjoyable. That one, stop.
This one?
Yep.
This one? Okay. What did you pick? Oh!
Get on.
Oh!
You always says that.
No, this is a good one. For all the things that James has been talking about, it is an uncannily good card. An uncannily good card for James. And he picked adaptability.
Ah, there you go.
Adaptability,
adaptability. As a business owner, you have to be very adaptable. You do have to change the way that you do things, especially if you've come from a corporate and been doing things a certain way. You have to adapt to your clients, adapt to the changes in the economy. It's a lot about adaptability when you're a business owner. So we're going to ask you creatively, James, about adaptability.
What?
So first of all, adaptability. What does adaptability look like to you? If you could physically see it, what would it be?
I was sort of going to some form of an animal who has the ability to survive different climates, different times. I was thinking like lizards or something like that. Cockroach. Yeah, cockroach. Yeah. Something in the ocean, weather many different storms, but has that, yeah, ability.
Alligators or something that have been on the planet for like millions of years.
I've just called myself a lizard, haven't I? Or I've just called myself a dinosaur, whichever one.
I think stick to lizard, and that should be your spirit animal.
Exactly.
What did I say? I said my spirit animal in the other call. I said on another call it was a dormouse.
Oh.
Because a dormouse is small and it's able to sort of come in and out of spaces undetected. But no, I don't know.
Or a cross between a dormouse and a lizard.
Now you're getting into the realm of ridiculous.
AI blend, the AI blend.
The head of a dormouse and the tail of a lizard.
If you could feel it, what would it feel like?
Cold and slimy.
Oh, cold and slimy. Interesting. If it had a sound, what would it sound like?
Very low baritone hum.
What would it smell like?
The White Company.
White Company. Oh, that's wicked. I shouldn't laugh.
I've had one little spray bottle for 3 years, my ad from that company. You know, the little air mists. I've had one for 3 years. It's not run out.
Wow.
Worth every penny.
Excellent. Oh, I was going to say it probably hasn't run out because you haven't used it.
You kind of just spray it every now and then when my friends come and visit or something like that, you know.
Cover up all the other smells.
Yeah, just cover up all the you know, but yeah, so I'd say White Company or Creed, something like that.
What would it taste like?
Indian curry.
Prawn.
King prawn.
King prawn curry.
Balti. Yeah.
Curry.
Yeah. It's got to taste good, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. I mean, adaptability, you have to have a lot of spices, add a lot of spices to the mixing.
What did I have for lunch? I had like halloumi with lettuce, but I had sriracha sauce on it. So a bit of spice there. Okay.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much, James, for coming on the couch with us.
No worries.
And giving us a little bit more insight into what it's like to start your own business and the kind of background that has helped you in your business. And we wish you and Cornish Hue all the best, and we hope you grow from strength to strength.
It's my pleasure.
Oh, look at him.
Absolutely my pleasure. And I just wish you all the very, very best. And
I want to be an animal too. Are we all going to do it now?
Yeah, we're going to end on an avatar.
I think why not?
Okay, let's do that.
Go on, Jeannie.
Because we can. Because
get with the program.
Because
let's do this. Let's do this thing.
Well, I think I'll be a cow. Because when I was young, my surname with the Mew, I mean, obviously people would call me Mew Cat, Mew, so annoying.
This is adaptability, isn't
it? But somebody once also called me Moo Cow. So there you go.
And what are you supposed? Are you supposed to be a bear or a beaver, James?
I think it's some sort of like otter, isn't it, or beaver? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So from the cow, the cat, and the beaver. Until next time, we'll see you.
Bye.
Have it. Bye bye.